Hey guys, I think I am live. I know there's a bit of a lag in the chat, so if someone can just type in there and confirm that I'm not just sitting here talking to myself, that would be awesome. In the meantime, I'll get set up. Yay. Andrew says, hi, Tasha. Loud and clear. Sweet. Hopefully it's, that time of year where it's like not hot enough to keep the window open and too hot to keep it closed. So I have it open a little bit. Hopefully that's not completely bungling up the sound, but if there's like a siren goes by, I'll do my best to shut it up. We can just sit with it equanimously. All right. Getting started here. Actually, I was creeping the chat while I was waiting to go on, and I saw that, who was it? Ruthless Crab was on day 100 of their practice. And I thought that was awesome and deserved to congrats. So awesome consistency in setting up a practice. So welcome to the Do Nothing Project. Obviously, I'm not Jeff, although I think Jeff is probably lurking around behind the scenes somewhere. I'm his friend Tasha. If you were here last month, I think the exact same day last month, I was here and did a spaciousness meditation. For those of you who weren't there, who haven't sat with me before, we haven't done CEC before or anything like that. I am a friend of Jeff's. I'm part of the Consciousness Explorers Club family, a meditation instructor. So my Western modality meditation stuff name, I'm Tasha Schumann, but I'm also an artist, a recording artist, and a visual artist, and a maker of things. And there, my name is Tasha the Amazon. And in the meditation traditions of Indo-Tibetan lineages, my name is Lama Karma Jigme. So I practice in the Tibetan lineages, but I like to draw on everything that is relevant to people, because we need all the tools that we can to kind of crack the nut of this salad of mind. So today we're going to be doing a meditation on creativity, which is, this meditation is kind of, I draw a little bit from Dzogchen, which is a practice in the Indo-Tibetan lineages that I was talking about before, but it's really, really practical. So, it is about looking at the spaciousness of mind, but, how can we use what we find there to be creative, and not just creative as artists and, capital A artists and capital C creatives, but to find creativity in all of our lives, at work, at home, at play, in our dress, in the words we choose when we talk. Creativity is all of those things. So, when we, in the traditional way of talking about creativity from the contemplative frame of mind, creativity is basically a descriptor for the nature of mind. So, our first person experience is this outflow of constant experience of things, of thoughts, of feelings, of ideas, of identities. And when we can have space from them, not fuse with them immediately, and kind of hold them watchfully, we realize that all of those things are spontaneous creativity. They don't require us to do anything. I don't have to conjure up a thought or conjure up an image in my mind. It's just there. My idea of who Tasha is, in the various elements of my life, those ideas kind of just show up. They're just making themselves. And when we're not watchful, it feels like we're doing it effortfully. And we can kind of become really disjointed from our sense of creativity, and feeling like, it's hard. I have to sit down and I have to create, or I have to think about it, and it has to be exactly this way. And when we approach our creativity in that way, we often find ourselves in creative blocks, or, there's a lot of pressure and everything becomes effortful, and it's not fun anymore. It's not natural anymore. So this practice is really about learning to hold all of those activities of mind in spaciousness, watching them unfold, realizing how little we need to do to be creative or to watch creativity. And then, so the way we'll do that is basically in two phases. The first phase of the meditation is relaxation and spaciousness. So it's very much like the meditation that we did a month ago, if you were here on space. But then moving into this creativity part, which is watching the play of phenomena. So after we've kind of settled into a spacious mind and almost, disappeared or retracted into space, then turning towards the mind and watching everything that shows up there, um, in a really unmeddlesome way, which is difficult for us because as soon as something shows up on the stage of the mind, we want to meddle with it. It's right or it's wrong, or it should be this way, or I can elaborate on that. So this practice, the second part of this practice, is to keep our fingers off of it and watch the creative display. And then we're going to end, the last part of this meditation is going to be about creating, but also about compassion and self-compassion. So it's going to be about what can we do with what we find in the mind, all of these things that we're watching arising. How can we usher them into reality or into form, even in a subtle way, creating something that is compassionate towards us and towards others. So like always with these meditations, you can feel free to do what we're doing or what I'm saying, and you can obviously modify it however you like. I'm going to be sitting, and a large portion of this meditation is eyes open. And I know a lot of people don't like that. I urge you to try and give it a shot. A big part of this meditation, is the connecting with spaciousness. So having the eyes softly open allows your sense of self to kind of open out into the space around you, not be confined to, the sense of me in here. But if it's not comfortable, you can close your eyes. You could do this laying down if you wanted. I'll be sitting, but that's not an indication of it being better or worse. Yeah. All right, so it's going to be a 25-minute meditation. You can get comfy however you like. I'm going to get a sip of water before we start. So for the first few moments of this meditation, we're just going to focus on relaxing. Relaxing the obvious tensions and relaxing into those little parts that we don't even realize we're holding. One of my favorite ways for doing that is breath bathing. So you'll take an in-breath and imagine that the breath is starting at the top of your head. And as you breathe in, it's like a wave washing down to your toes. And then on the on the out breath, it's coming back up to the crown. So we're breathing in, washing down to the toes, and breathing out back to the top of the head. And just continue with that breath for a few moments. You might even find that your body is moving gently, undulating kind of like a wave. And imagine as the wave passes through your head, the inside of your head, it's just washing out any tension. Tension in your jaw, behind your eyes. Tension in your neck, inside your throat. Tension in your torso and shoulders. Just like debris floating on the ocean. And the wave is washing it away. From this relaxed frame of mind and body, we'll start to bring our attention into space. And so you can open your eyes a little bit, gently. If you're wearing glasses, you can take them off. So the gaze is relaxed and settled in space. It's not on any fixed point. Blurred. And relax the aperture of your attention along with the aperture of your gaze. And attend very softly to the space around you. And connecting to creativity is about connecting to what's here, not what's anywhere else, not what we wish was here. Just take a few minutes to melt into the space that is here. And the boundary between inside and outside blurs, maybe erodes completely. And there's a quote that says, "To create, you have to disappear." And so that's what we're doing as we melt into space. Our sense of self is evaporating with it. Just a fertile, womb-like space that's ready and allowing. Just relaxing as space into space. And so from this spacious perspective, turn your attention towards that which spontaneously arises in the space of the mind. Just whatever shows up. So on the more obvious level, that could be things like thoughts, images, words. Just watch them like we would watch hypnagogic images or dreamscapes. Let them arise and do whatever they want. We'll just watch as space. Notice that thoughts arise, they linger, they change, and then they disappear and make room for the next thought. And they do that effortlessly without any meddling from us. And so this is the natural creativity of the mind. And if you think to yourself, I'm not having any thoughts, look at that thought. Look at how that thought seems to speak for you. And yet still doesn't require any meddling from you. And we can look down even subtler to the feeling tones of our experience right now. And the things that don't really have a name yet or form. Things like mood, the way we feel about the room, the way we feel about ourselves. So feel into all of these subtler tendrils of activity and watch them at play. And so we watch all of these things that arise in the space of our first person experience. And we watch them from the perspective of the space of the mind. Allowing them as they are. We let the sense of doing utterly recede into the background. And notice that that doesn't stop anything from happening. even our idea of ourself, our identity that we clutch so tightly to. You can even see that as a creation of our minds. And just watch it. And then for the last few minutes, we're just open to experimenting with what it's like to usher these creative energies into form in some way. So you can feel into what's here, whatever you've been sitting with and watching for the last couple minutes. And not asking in any kind of verbal way, but really feeling into what is the creative energy of this moment asking for? What can I allow myself compassionately right now? So maybe that arises as motion. Maybe it arises as sound, a melody, words, a few lines of poetry or prose. Maybe it's just putting your hand on your chest, over your heart. Maybe it's lying down or standing up. Just letting it be completely non-performative, just flowing authentically from the creative energy of mind. So there's no right way to do this. Creativity is just happening. And we can be like midwives or ushers, helping it to come into form. And then touching into this creative energy. Well, what is something that you could do to guide this energy in a way that would be compassionate to somebody outside of yourself? And letting it spin further into the world. Be something very simple, like an email or a text or a hug. And just imagine yourself doing that. And we can set the intention that after this meditation is over and our session is over, that you'll do something with this creative energy that's inside of you, however simple or small. Thank you, guys. All right, I'm popping into the chat. I'd love to hear some comments or anything. How was that for you? How did you modify? Or is there anything that was difficult or super extra fun? I'm seeing some familiar names in here. I feel like some of you have done this meditation with me before. So hopefully that resonated with you again. Lauren, I'm reading your quote. It's not the size of the bell. You know what they say about a person with a big meditation bell? I don't know. So if you know what they say, let me know. With eyes open, does anyone else just follow the floaters in their eyes? It's funny that you say that. That's actually, in the Tibetan tradition, there is a practice where you gaze into the sky and kind of, blur your eyes and follow the floaters. You're kind of like looking at the floaters in the eyes. It's as a metaphor for the dancing aliveness of reality. Ben says he's grateful for the guidance and deepening the eyes open practice. Yeah, I remember, I don't know if it was last time or during the retreat, you were saying that it was new for you and kind of weird to do. So I'm glad that you're still trying it out. Chloe says, oh no, I'm a choreographer who's been really challenged to create for a while. Very helpful. Yeah, I find this one is really helpful for when you just start settling into a kind of block. And you know that there's something there, but you just can't touch it. And it's usually because there's a lot of effort, like you're just effortfully kind of scrunching down on the creative flow. So it helps to just kind of open it up like an in-breath and just see everything that's in there. Jeff says, love the invitation to see thoughts as pure creativity. Really challenged my experience of thinking. It was kind of no self-prompt around the self. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, like I said, this is kind of preliminary sort of practice in Dzogchen. It's called a Rushen. You're basically looking at the space in which stuff comes up in the mind. And the more that we attend to the space and we kind of realize, wait, everything is happening in mind, you know, my concept of self and all the words I'm saying to myself. So what isn't space? You know, it's all just kind of a dance of creativity. And that's kind of the juicy spot where your brain goes. Brooke says, I'm outside on my deck, realizing that we're all doing this creative exploration under the same sky and moon. The moon is so bright right now. That's beautiful. It is really amazing sky tonight. Thanks, guys. So many nice comments in here. Jeff McParlin says, I still can't do the eye thing open. It is quite challenging. And especially if I find a lot of people need extra relaxation time before eyes open makes sense. If you just go from busy day to eyes open, it's kind of more of the same. Like you've had your eyes open all day and it's hard to kind of switch gears. In a 25-minute meditation, we only did like 4 minutes of just pure relaxation, but you can do 5-10 minutes of it and then see, in a dimly lit room. And then I also usually give some eye exercises. There's some really great eye exercises from the Tibetan yogic tradition where you stretch your eyes in all directions, like left, right, as far as you can, up, down, as far as you can, and then clockwise circles, counterclockwise circles, getting into all of the muscles of the eye, which are usually very tight and keep us from being able to relax the eyes in meditation. So if it's difficult, you can give that a shot. It's one of my favorite exercises. The idea of looking at the identity our mind created for ourselves from our mind space and just watch it. That was a completely awakening moment for me, and we'll practice that one going forward. That's how I felt the first time I encountered this kind of, we have this, we're like looking at thoughts or watching thoughts, and then there's that point where you're like, well, I'm not thinking anything. Turn and look at that thought. Who is saying that? And realizing that even that is a creation that's like popping up in a space, in a mental container that is without walls. The mustard background is interesting. I'm glad you like it. I feel like I'm missing so many good comments. Ben likes my backdrop too. I was actually going to do my other I was going to do this green one. I have this like green fuzzy one. I was going to do that one, but I felt like it's spring now and it's like the sunshine. I wanted to beam out good, happy, loud vibes at you guys. Emily is here from the bursary program at Launchpad. Hi, Emily. I teach creative entrepreneurship, and I do a lot of creative coaching. And so I'm just wrapping up a course that I did at Artscape Toronto. And Emily's one of my students there, or one of the artists that I'm mentoring there. I love When Worlds Collide. And people liking the breath as a wave. That is from the Hatha yoga tradition. It's really effective. You can try it out in Shavasana. Lay down in Shavasana. Breathe when you're breathing in, go all the way to the toes, to the head. And what you can do if you want it to be slowly invigorating is do a couple breaths all the way to the toes and back, and then to the knees and back, to the pelvis and back, from the chest and back, neck and back, and then forehead and back. So progressively the waves are getting shorter, and it kind of starts to awaken and aliven. I didn't do that because I wanted you guys to get as relaxed as possible, but if you liked it, try that one out. It's in the morning or kind of an invigorating pranayama in the afternoon. Oh, Ben says I beam out good, happy vibes. Thank you very much. All right. I feel like I got most of them. Like good. I know I missed a whole ton, but Lauren or Andrew, did you see anything that I need to take a peek at? Oh yes, I am part of the CEC faculty. I'm doing a session at the upcoming spring retreat. And actually, I think the session I'm going to do, because the theme of the retreat is, what is it? What's the theme of the retreat? It's like invigorating or like enlivening, like, you know, spring waking up. So the session I'm going to do is actually based on the Tibetan yogic body practices, which, you know, the yogis up in the mountains that are like, they're meditating for 20 hours a day for 3 years. They've come up over the millennia with all these yogic exercises that don't require a lot of movement, but really, really invigorate the senses, the bodies, the muscles, and prepare you for meditation. So this one that I'm going to be teaching is called Nejang Yoga. And one of the movements from it is the eyeballs, the left, right, up, down. And so it's a lot of fun and very invigorating. So I invite you to come and practice with us at the CEC retreat. And also, if you want to holler at me or work with me or meditate some more, you can find me at rareling.com. That's RARELING.com. We do a lot of meditation and creativity things there. It's building every day. Cool. Thanks, Jeff. See you guys all next week. I don't know who's on next week, but probably Jeff. And if that's not right, they will tell you in the chat. Thanks for sharing the link. There it is. Okay, cool. All right, I will leave you guys to enjoy the rest of your Sunday nights wherever you are, and hopefully see you soon. Take care.